Once we understand what are phase diagrams, how we can interpret and how we can calculate the composition and the amounts of different phases present at a given temperature and composition. So now we'll take one example of a binary phase diagram, and we'll see how different phase diagrams are going to occur at a different temperature and different composition. So the one which you are going to take it up is a iron carbon diagram, that is the formation of a steel. So now we can see the various phases which are going to form at a different temperature by changing the composition of carbon and iron. Before moving on to the actual diagram, once again we'll try to recall the phase diagram, that is a invariant reaction, what we have discussed in the previous classes. Okay, the first one is a eutectoid reaction, or we say in general solid 1 will gives rise to solid 2 plus solid 3. So on cooling it will give to solid 2 plus solid 3, or on heating it will give to solid 1, or else in particular to the iron carbon diagram we'll say the solid 1 is a austenite or a gamma iron, which is an FCC structure. On cooling it will solidify, or it will give to the new solid 1, that is alpha ferrite, which is in a BCC structure, plus Fe3C, that is a cementoid, that is a intermediate compound, which is a BCT structure. Okay, and on cooling, so with respect to the temperature is 727 degrees Celsius and 0.8% carbon. So means this invariant reaction is going to occur at exactly 0.8% of carbon and temperature of 727. So you can see it here, the austenite will start solidifying, or will start giving nucleation to the alpha ferrite and Fe3C once it is going to cross ACM and A2 line. Okay, so this A2 A27, sorry, 727 is called as a A1, that is a critical temperature, A1 critical temperature, and A2 is a 912 degrees Celsius, and ACM is depending upon the carbon percentage. So it may go up to 2.1% of carbon to the right side. And you can see here the maximum solubility of carbon in alpha iron is restricted to 0.025% at 727 degree Celsius, and the solubility goes on decreases to the room temperature. So it may go up to the 0 at the room temperature. So the eutectoid mixture which you're going to get it here is a perlite. Okay, so perlite is a very soft in nature, and it is a mixture of alpha plus Fe3C. So how that structure will look like and how it nucleates, we'll see it one by one. So now for a time being you just see, okay, austenite will gives rise to alpha ferrite plus Fe3C, and perlite is a mixture of alpha and Fe3C. Okay, so that is what is a eutectoid reaction, which occurs at 727 degrees Celsius and 0.8% carbon. Next one is eutectic. Okay, so eutectic is a liquid will gives rise to solid A plus solid B. Okay, and the mixture of that one is called as a eutectic mixture, where we are going to have a solid A plus B. Or when in particular to the iron carbon diagram, we can say a liquid at 1148, that is a 1148 degrees Celsius at a particular carbon percentage, that is a 4.3. Okay, it will gives rise to austenite plus cementite. Okay, so solid 1 is austenite, solid 2 is a cementite, and the mixture austenite plus cementite is a eutectic mixture which is called as a Lidberite, which is called as a Lidberite. Okay, so you can see it here. So these two are a liquidous line, and this is a solidus line. Okay, that is a 1148. Okay, so exactly at this temperature the liquid will solidify into a mixture of austenite plus a cementite, that is a Lidberite. But as it goes to the room temperature, so this Lidberite is not stable at a room temperature, so it dissociates into alpha plus Fe3C, that is a perlite, which is at a room temperature. So now when we move to the left side, so the liquid will gives rise to the gamma, that is austenite starts nucleating and growing, okay, at this temperature, and as the carbon percentage increases, the liquid starts nucleating, okay, and solidifying into the Fe3C, okay, that is a cementite. And once it crosses the eutectic temperature, so whatever the liquid is there, the pro austenite and the pro cementite will be retained, and the remaining liquid will solidify into a eutectic mixture called as a Lidberite. Okay, but as we move on to the room temperature, so this Lidberite is not stable at a room temperature, so the austenite, okay, will dissociate into alpha plus Fe3C, that is a mixture of ferrite and a cementite, that is a perlite. Okay, that is a second condition, which is second invariant reaction, which occurs at 1148 degrees Celsius and at 4.3% of carbon. And the last invariant reaction, which we are going to take it on the iron carbon diagram, is a peritectic. Peritectic is a high temperature. So where we call that one like a liquid plus a solid one will give rise to the solid 2, or else if you see it here, liquid plus a delta ferrite, okay, delta ferrite will give rise to the a new solid austenite, you can say this is a liquidous line. So once the liquid crosses the liquidous line, the delta starts, that is delta ferrite starts solidifying, and once it crosses the temperature, that is a 1495 degrees Celsius at a 0.18% of carbon, it changes, or it solidifies into a new solid, that is a austenite, which is in a FCC structure. So this delta is in a BCC structure. That is the maximum solubility of a carbon in a delta ferrite is a 0.5%. 0.5% at a 1495. Okay, so here also we can see, okay, the peritectic temperature or the peritectic reaction is going to occur at 1495 degrees Celsius at 0.18% of carbon, and as the temperature drops down, okay, the solubility of carbon in the austenite also increases. You can see maximum up to 2.1, but it decreases as the temperature increases. So combining all these three invariant reaction, so we can easily understand what exactly a Fe3C diagram means and what are the invariant reaction which are going to take place. So now, as we have already learnt how to draw up a phase diagram, so temperature will be on a y-axis and the composition will be on a x-axis. So here when it comes to the composition, so 0.8, 2.1, 4.3 and 6.67, so these four compositions plays an important role, and those are important in order to understand the invariant reaction or the phase diagram of a Fe3C diagram. And on the temperature scale, the room temperature, okay, 0, normal temperature we have taken it as a 0, okay, and 727, next important temperature 912, 1148 and 1395, 1495 and 1538. So 1538 is the melting point of a pure iron, okay, and 1495 is the peritectic temperature, and 1148 is the eutectic temperature, and 727 is the eutectoid temperature. So 727, 912, 1148 and 1495. So these temperature in connection with these composition play an important role in controlling the different phases which are going to form at a different composition. So on the x-axis, okay, so we can see the maximum solubility of carbon in iron is a 6.67. 6.67. So more than that one it won't dissolve, means that is a saturation point, okay, for a carbon in a iron. Okay, so here the carbon percentage less than 2.1 we called as a steels. Okay, the carbon percentage in iron less than 2.1 is called as a steels, and more than that one we called as a cast irons. Okay, so even in the eutectoid reaction, these steels less than 0.8% of carbon we called as a hypoeutectoid steels, and in between 0.8 to 2.1 we called as a hypereutectoid steels. Okay, even in the cast iron in between 2.1 to 4.3 we called as a hypoeutectic cast irons, and more than 4.3 up to 6.67 we called as a hypereutectic cast iron. Okay, so that's how exactly we are going to classify the steels and cast irons. Again the sub classification in steels and cast irons. And once we look into the reaction, okay, the first one which we have seen, peritectic, where liquid plus delta ferrite will give rise to gamma. Okay, and this is how exactly it is going to appear. And where the eutectic is, okay, the liquid will gives rise to gamma plus Fe3C. Okay, and the eutectoid will gives rise to gamma will dissociate into alpha plus Fe3C. Okay, so as we discussed in the previous slides, the peritectic is the one where liquid plus delta ferrite will give rise to the austenite, and as the temperature drop down, this solid austenite will dissociate into alpha plus Fe3C, that is a eutectoid reaction. And here liquid giving rise to gamma plus Fe3C is a eutectic reaction. So combining all these three invariant reactions, that is a three, one peritectic, eutectic and eutectoid. So the phase diagram of iron carbon diagram looks like this. Okay, where we need to understand the eutectoid mixture as a perlite and eutectic mixture as a lead barite. Okay, where gamma plus Fe3C. But as we have discussed, the gamma is not stable at a room temperature, so the gamma will dissociate into alpha plus Fe3C at a room temperature. And also we have seen the maximum solubility of carbon in a delta ferrite is 0.1% at a 1495. So this is what we have seen here, and a 0.025% at a 727 here. Okay, and a 2.11% at a 1148 here. Okay, means so as the temperature is going to increase or decrease, the solubility of a foreign element in the parent atom also keeps on changes. Okay, so the different phases which are going to occur at different temperature is a austenite FCC structure, ferrite is a BCC structure, perlite, okay, it is a combination or a mixture of alpha ferrite and a Fe3C like a lamellar structure, cementite, it is an intermediate compound, martensite is a unstable one which we are going to get it when we are going to cool the austenite to the room temperature, okay, in a faster rate than the critical cooling rate. Okay, so leaderite is a eutectic mixture. Okay, so this is how exactly one can understand what exactly how exactly we can write the iron carbon diagram. Okay, so easily, okay, we can understand like so 0.8, 2.1, 4.3, and 727, 1148 and 1495. Okay, those three temperature along with these three compositions are going to control the different phases which are going to occur at different temperatures. Okay, so the same thing what we have discussed is shown with the color combination. So one can easily find out what are the phases which are going to occur at different temperatures and different compositions. Okay, so based on the composition, that is the carbon percentage in the iron. Okay, so one can call them as a steels or a cast iron. Okay, or a hypo and hyperutected steels also, and hypo and hyper eutectic cast irons. Okay, so once we understand how we can deal with the iron carbon diagram, so let's see so what are the allotropic form? Allotropic form means the different crystal structure are going to occur at a different temperature. So one is a delta ferrite, that is the one which is going to occur at 1495 degrees Celsius, that is a peritectic reaction. Okay, so which is in a BCC structure, that is a body centered. Already we know. So how a BCC structure is going to appear and all. Okay, one more is a gamma, that is FCC in structure, which is a non-magnetic and a ductile, non-magnetic and a ductile, which is going to stay in between 1495 and 727. 727. Okay, so which is of FCC. Okay, that is a face centered cubic in structure. And at a room temperature we will find alpha ferrite, which is a BCC structure and which is a ferromagnetic and fairly ductile. You can see the properties of the metals, that is the steels also changes depending upon the phases which are going to present here. Say here at room temperature alpha ferrite, okay, which is a ferromagnetic and fairly ductile. Okay, so as the temperature increases, so we'll see a gamma iron, that is austenite, which is FCC in structure and a non-magnetic and a ductile. Okay, and at a higher temperature, that is a delta ferrite, BCC structure and a ferromagnetic in nature. Okay, so by knowing this one also, depending upon the requirement in the application, okay, so one can easily stabilize the structures to the room temperatures. So once we know how to construct the iron carbon diagram and what are the allotropic form of iron which exists at a different temperature along with the property change in the properties, let's see what are the properties of different phases which appear on a iron carbon diagram. The first one, which is stable at a room temperature, is the alpha ferrite, so which is in BCC structure. Okay, so the maximum solubility in that one is a 0.022 at a 727 degrees Celsius, and transfer to gamma, that is a austenite at 912 degrees Celsius. So next is the gamma austenite, which is a FCC in structure. The maximum solubility is 2.14 at 1148 degrees Celsius. Transfer to BCC, that is a delta ferrite at 1395 degree Celsius. So this austenite is not a stable at a room temperature, so it will dissociate into alpha plus Fe3C to the room temperature. Okay, so in order to stabilize this one at a room temperature, we need to add alloying elements so that we can have a FCC structure which is fairly ductile in nature and non-magnetic in nature. So next one is a delta ferrite, which is BCC in structure, and the crystal structure of alpha and delta ferrite are same. So this is also not a stable at a room temperature, so only stable at a high temperature, so only it is a peritectic, so high temperature invariant reaction at 1394, so it melts at 1538, that is the melting point of a iron. So next is a Fe3C, that is a cementite or iron carbide, okay, which is very hard in nature, which is metastable, okay, neither stable or not unstable. So if the conditions are favorable, it will readily changes its phase. It remains as a compound indefinitely at a room temperature, but decomposes very slowly with the several years, okay, to alpha and that is a graphite. Okay, so normally we find these things. So if Fe3C is kept at room temperature for a long time, so it dissociates or decomposes into alpha and carbon in the form of flakes. Okay, so which is at 650 to 700 degrees Celsius. So now we have seen what are the invariant reaction and what are the different phases. So let's see like how the formation of these different phases occurs at a different temperature with the composition. Say if you take the carbon percentage which is less than 0.8, we call as a hypoeutectoid steels. So in the hypoeutectoid steels, the gamma, that is a austenite, will starts solidifying, okay, or will start transforming itself from austenite to the alpha ferrite, that is the grain boundary, the weak regions, the grain boundary regions are going to act as a nucleating sites. Okay, so as these alpha ferrite starts nucleating at the grain boundary, so when the temperature starts decreasing, these things will grow further, and once it crosses the eutectoid temperature, okay, whatever the present austenite will transfer to the pearlite. Pearlite is a combination or a lamellar structure of alpha ferrite and Fe3C. You can see here, okay, and you can see the nucleation of alpha ferrite at the grain boundary of austenite. Okay, so once the carbon percentage is less than 0.025 percentage, so the austenite directly transferred to the alpha ferrite, which is stable at the room temperature, but the maximum solubility in alpha ferrite is only a 0.025 percentage. So you can see it here. Okay, so this is a pro-eutectoid alpha, the eutectoid, or sorry, the alpha ferrite which is formed above the eutectoid temperature. So now here, so the pearlite will be the lamellar structure. Say now the red color is a Fe3C and the blue color is a alpha ferrite. Okay, so which will be like a one above the other, like a fingerprint like structure. Okay, so you can see in the microstructure also. Okay, so line by line, that is a lamellus, one above the other. Okay, it is like a book stack. Okay, so that's how exactly the hypoeutectoid steels are going to get solidify. So if you take the opposite one, that is a hypereutectoid steels, so the austenite starts transforming into the Fe3C, that is a cementite. Again, the cementite starts nucleating at the grain boundary, means the excess carbon which is present in the gamma, that is austenite, starts coming out and uh, uh, what you call concentrating at the grain boundary, which leads to the Fe3C. So in the Fe3C, the percentage of carbon is more compared to the alpha ferrite. So whatever the region which is deficient in a carbon will transfer to the alpha ferrite. So means once it crosses the eutectoid temperature, so the Fe3C, that is a pro-eutectoid cementite, will remain same. Whatever the remaining gamma will transfer to the pearlite, that is a lamellar structure of alpha and alpha ferrite and Fe3C. So how the structure? So the structure will remain same, but here instead of a pro-eutectoid alpha, we say that one as a pro-eutectoid Fe3C. The pearlitic structure will remain same, so which is ductile in nature. Okay, so if you take in general both the things, okay, you can see even in the hypoeutectoid and hypereutectoid, so the nucleation of the alpha and nucleation of the Fe3C will originate at the grain boundary, and it starts growing as the temperature comes down, and whatever the austenite which is present at the line or nearby of the eutectoid temperature, okay, so it will suddenly transfer to the pearlite, that is a lamellar structure once it crosses to the eutectoid temperature. Okay, So ferrite is known as a alpha ferrite. Okay, so as we all know, which is having a maximum solubility 0.025 723, and it decreases to 0.008, which is in a BCC condition. Okay, so the mechanical strength of that one, tensile strength, will be 40,000 psi. Okay, and elongation 40%, which is fairly ductile in nature, and hardness is greater than C0 or greater than 90B, that is a 90B scale. Okay, so pearlitic condition, that is a pearlitic structure, will be a eutectoid mixture containing exactly 0.8% of a carbon, which is formed at 723. Okay, it is a very fine plate like structure which are kept one above the other. So where the white is a ferritic and black is a cementite in nature. And then if you consider this is the boundary of a austenite, okay, grain boundary of austenite, the pearlitic nucleation, that is nucleation of ferrite and cementite, will take place at the grain boundary like this, a layer by layer, so which further grows as the temperature decreases. And even the austenite is a FCC structure. Okay, the maximum solubility is a 2% at 113 or 1148 degrees Celsius, so which is high formability. Okay, high ductile. Most of a heat treatment begin with a single phase. So we'll see this one in the model number 3, where so in order to have a heat treatment for a steels, first it should be eaten to the or transformed to a single phase austenite, then the different structures which we are going to get it depending upon the type of a heat treatment. So it is normally not stable at a room temperature, as I said, but under certain condition it is possible to retain at a room temperature also by adding the alloying elements. Okay, so next is the cementite. So very hard and brittle because of increase in the carbon percentage in that one. So the maximum carbon percentage which we can find in Fe3C is a 6.67 percentage. Okay, so it is a hardest structure. The structure will be maybe orthorhombic, so low tensile strength but high compressive strength. Okay, so only normally the cast irons with the maximum of iron carbon content are good in compressive strength rather than tensile strength. Okay, so lidiberite is a eutectic mixture which is of austenite and cementite. Okay, the austenite which is present in the lidiberite is not stable at a room temperature, so once it comes down, the austenite suddenly transfer to the alpha ferrite and cementite. So we can say pro eutectic cementite plus alpha ferrite and cementite, which is there at the room temperature. Okay, and the last one is a martensite, so which is a supersaturated solid solution. So this one we are going to see it in the next module, where the cooling of austenite or the transformation of austenite from a higher temperature to the lower temperature, if it take place within the critical cooling rate, then we end up with the martensite, which is in a very hard in nature, okay, or brittle in nature. Okay, which will be having a BCT, that is a body centered tetragonal. Okay, so those things in general, in detail, we'll see it up in the model number 3. Okay, so this is how exactly we can see what are the different types of phases which are present in the iron carbon diagram, how a iron carbon diagram can easily be drawn with the understanding of each phase diagram, that is a peritectic, eutectic and eutectoid reactions. Okay, so as we see in so as austenite is not stable at a room temperature, but you want a very ductile material which is of a non-magnetic in nature. Okay, so we can add up a few alloying elements which stabilizes the what you call transformation of austenite into the alpha ferrite at a room temperature also. Okay, so those things are called as alloying elements. So you can see it here by adding up of these alloying elements, so one can easily see. Okay, so how exactly we can stabilize the ferrite and austenite. Okay, so the titanium, chromium, tungsten, molybdenum, silicon, etc., which if we are going to add these alloying elements, okay, to the uh, element, that is a steel, so we can easily stabilize the ferrite. Okay, so which is more stable in nature than gamma iron. So if you want the austenite at a room temperature, okay, so which lowers the eutectoid, okay, eutectoid temperature, that is at a room temperature also we can get these austenite in the steel, that is manganese, nickel, cobalt and copper, so which decreases or lowers the eutectoid temperature, where if you want to have the ferrite at a higher temperature, so we need to increase the eutectoid temperature. So once we increase the eutectoid temperature, the region at which these elements are going to appear, so the area will increase, the area will increase. So once again we'll see all these things when we are going to discuss about the alloying elements in the steel in the coming lectures. Okay, so thank you.